At St. Francis Community Hospital, we have psychiatrists, we have counselors, we have psychologists. You can walk in anytime. And for psychiatric clinics, we have them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you seek help. I want to give more attention to drug addiction. Yeah? Because it has become more rampant in our society, and its effects are damaging. It is a brain disorder because it involves functional changes to brain circuits that are involved in the reward, stress, and self-control. Those changes that it causes last a long time, even after this person has stopped taking the drugs. And like other diseases, it disrupts the normal, healthy functioning of an organ in the body. In many cases, it is preventable and treatable, so there is hope. So why do you think people take drugs? I want to volunteer. Why do people take drugs? Why do you think? Kwa nini watu wanatumia hizi vitu? Pardon? Feel good. Another reason? Another hand there. Peer pressure, which is very common in our age group, seated here today. Another reason? Feel better. Feel better. Yes, but it is not an adaptive way to feel better. So people take drugs to feel good, feel better, to do better. There are people who say if they don't choose to burn or if they not take anything, they can't function. Curiosity and peer pressure. So usually when you start, you perceive what seems to be positive effects. It doesn't start off with you being addicted. It starts with you feeling good after taking it. And initially, you have control. But over time, things that you used to enjoy before become less enjoyable. Because you feel like you need this drug feel normal. And now you have a problem controlling use, even though you know very well its negative effects, both to yourself and to the people you love. Who is at risk of addiction? So the risk of addiction differs from person to person. Males are at higher risk compared to females, 3.5 to 1 ratio. And that is generally because males experiment with substances more. According to the World Report of 2019, 35 million people are estimated to suffer from a drug use disorder and require treatment services. And according to WHO, approximately 10% of urban dwellers in the world of different ages, genders, education levels, income, have a substance use disorder. This is an urban setting, right? Meaning, 1 in 10 people who use drugs will end up with an addiction problem. So that one person could very easily be, how many are we in this session today? So if you count every 10 people, if we all experiment, several of us will actually get an addiction problem. So it is better not to experiment, right? Yeah. Yes, it is not worth the risk. What are the risk factors? What makes more people more prone to getting addiction than others? So we have adverse childhood experiences. You've grown up in an environment that was very difficult, and maybe you observed abuse or you were abused. You are aggressive, you had aggressive behavior in childhood, you are at risk. Community poverty. I'm trying to highlight the importance of community together, being with people. Community poverty means you are growing up in a setting where you're just yourself isolating, you're not staying with people. It is important to be in community. Availability of drugs at school, lack of parental supervision, drug experimentation, and poor social skills. So from this you can see just experimenting, which may seem very harmless, could actually put you at risk of drug addiction equally. Yeah? So it is better not to experiment in the first place. Then what are the protective factors? Safe and nurturing relationships and environments. Once more, we are seeing relationships. Relationships are protective for all mental health disorders. Safe and nurturing relationships and environments. Strong social and emotional skills. Yeah? Parental monitoring and support. Relationships again. School anti-drug policies. Neighborhood resources. So what prevention strategies can be employed? Majority of adults with substance use problems begin to use substances during their adolescent years. Who here is an adolescent? All of you, if not most, right? I have been told you are in the ages of 13 to 18, so you are adolescents. So they did start when you were adults. This is the age that they started experimenting and they set themselves up for failure, right? Because this is the time where you experiment and you develop a problem and you're not able to progress. So you can have educational and skills training programs for young people like this one. This is a very good resource. Programs that teach parents effective ways to monitor and communicate with their children and establish and enforce family rules regarding substance use. So after talking to you people, we need to also talk to your parents so that they can be more empowered. Community-based programs such as mass media, public policy, restricting access to young people, and there being a minimum purchasing age. The most effective programs target protective factors at the individual and the family level. So the family is very important. What individual factors are protective? Knowledge of effects of drugs and their impact on your quality of life. We always say knowledge is power. So we are all in the right place today, right? We are getting empowered. Building your self-esteem, building your assertiveness and being highly assertive, being able to say no. When you find someone who's trying to introduce you to a drug, you just say no and you stick by your no. And having self-control. There are differences in terms of how people react to drugs at the brain level, which means some people are at a higher risk than others. You can experiment 10 of you, but only one will end up with an addiction problem. You see? So you might not know if you're that one person. Usually drugs increase dopamine activity and they work on the reward system of the brain. All kinds of addictions do that, whether they are food addiction or sex addiction. So what family factors are protective? Do children do what they see their parents doing? Yeah? Yes. So it begins with modeling. Modeling behavior and attitudes regarding substances at the family level. Knowing your genetic predisposition. If you come from a family where your uncles are addicted to substances or people in the family have gotten an addiction problem, then you know you are at how do we treat addiction when it happens? Help is available. Do not suffer in silence. Connectedness. We talked about connectedness a lot in this session. We need to remember that addiction thrives in self-isolation. It wants to keep you self-isolated, feeling guilty, feeling ashamed, and then eventually it kills you. So if you think you could be ashamed or you tried and you're thinking, hey, the key is to speak up. Yeah? Talk to your parents. Usinyamaze. Do not suffer in silence. Finding healthy distractions like physical activity, helping out with the chores. You say when you do something good for others, you feel good, right? Yes. So ukirudi nyumbani, unasaidia na chores. It is good for you. Activities that don't include substances, attending parties that only serve fresh juice, good food, tea, and water. Yeah? Distancing yourself from company that indulges in these things. Just choosing that you will not be involved. Then spirituality, connecting to God and the things of God. It is good that you guys are here today. Participating in church activities, serving, etc. Perhaps you have already tried, now you are addicted. Is that the end? Is that the end? Can I get an answer? Is that the end? No, it's not the end. So you seek help. And who can provide this help? Mental health professionals, psychiatrists like myself. Like I have said, at St. Francis Community Hospital, we have psychiatrists, we have counselors, we have psychologists. You can walk in any time. And for psychiatric clinics, we have them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you seek help. We have rehabilitation facilities. Sometimes, if it is so severe, one requires admission at a hospital to deal with the withdrawal symptoms and for detoxification. Then nutrition, eating well, eating balanced meals, eating more proteins and more vegetables, drinking enough water, etc. So I'm almost concluding. And I wanted to highlight scripture that talks to us about both addiction and mental health, right? So Proverbs chapter 31 verse 4 says, "It is not for kings to learn well, it is not for kings to drink wine, not for rulers to crave beer." The context here is a mother who was advising her son, who was the king at the time. But I want you to replace his name with yourself. The Bible in 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9 says that we are a chosen people and a royal priesthood. So you can say, for example, Petronilla. You say, it is not for royalty, Petronilla. It is not for royalty to drink wine, not for rulers to crave beer. Finally, 3 John chapter 1 verse 2. Dear friend, I pray that you enjoy good health and that all will go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. The desire is for all of us to be healthy and whole, our mental health intact and free from addiction. True freedom is governed by discipline. If you want to be truly free, freedom is not being able to do whatever you want. It is knowing what I am doing, what is the impact it will have on me, what is the impact it will have on my future, what is the impact it will have on the people around me, the people I love. And if you want to be truly free, you need to be disciplined. In conclusion, I want to summarize this presentation with these 2 points: that there is no health without mental health, and that help is available and you should not suffer alone.